Hello, everyone. Welcome back. We are back to talk about Real Housewives of New Jersey, season 13, episode 2. My name is Asha.
Fnan.
And we're Asha and Fnan. So we're going to get into it. We're going to talk, kind of summarize the episode, and then we're going to get into our thoughts. Well, actually, it kind of goes from the last episode, and the ending of the last episode. So they're still yelling at each other, and then Bill and Jen leave, and Jennifer's really upset with Dolores. Says like, "Fuck Dolores," like how to be a bitch and a fucked up friend, like all of that stuff. And then Dolores is talking about how she defended her more than anyone else in the group, and then shows some flashbacks, and that is tea. To be honest, in my notes too, just like going through it just like really quick, I just said like, is anyone right in this situation? Like truly. And then we go into Teresa. Or like kind of like a flash through of like all of the housewives and what they're doing at their house. And then it goes into Teresa talking to Louis' assistant, and her talking about planning her wedding and how she wants Cirque du Soleil there, which is really interesting. And then it flashes to Melissa and Joe, and what are they doing? Oh, talking about Teresa. That's all I had to say. And then Jennifer has a little get together with Danielle. Danielle brings her kids over, and the kids play together. And when they FaceTime Teresa just to say hi, Teresa and Jen kind of spill some tea, but they don't even mean to do it, I don't think. But they did. But you think that they meant to do it.
Oh, yep.
And then it goes to Rachel's, and then kind of just talks about her as a housewife and how she met her husband, and like how the rest is history and all that stuff, and her kids and her being a stepmom. And then it goes to Marge's house for like a little party that she's doing with some of the housewives. And all I wrote was, Marge's house looks a mess. I'm sorry, because it does. And also, like their friend Jen Fessler, like Marge said she met her through Iggy. So that is just a red flag to me. And I wrote that down too. But Jen came to the house as well. And they were just all talking about Teresa, as per usual. And then goes into Dolores and her talking about her man, and them at their man's house, and how she has to talk to Frank about how he's not the only guy in her life anymore. Only guy in her life anymore. And she needs to, she's been focusing her attention on Paulie because she really loves him. And so then Dolores is talking to Paulie about how to, like, how she's a good friend to Jennifer, and she'll never do that again. And that's kind of all that happens with that scene. And I just wrote down, I just don't think your ex should be the guy in your life. So I'm glad that Dolores is taking that advice.
Yeah.
Okay, so then it goes into the next scene of Teresa sending her invitations to everyone. So everyone's receiving them. Joe and Melissa are talking about the invitation, but then they're also talking about the engagement party and when they didn't sit, anywhere near Teresa, and Teresa lied about it on the reunion. And then it goes into Danielle's mozzarella party that she's having. So she invites all the ladies over and doesn't invite Jackie because she said that Jackie was looking her up and down in the last couple times that they hung out. So she just wanted good vibes around her. And they start making mozzarella, and then Jen and Marge get to talking, and then they get to fighting, and then it kind of turns into Jen and Dolores fighting. And it turns into kind of Teresa and Melissa fighting, even though Teresa was trying to be a mediator. And then it ends with that. So that was kind of my quick summary of it. But we're about to get into our opinions and kind of break it down a little bit more. We're starting from the beginning. So Fnan, were you surprised to see those flashbacks of Dolores actually defending Jennifer? Because I was.
You know, Jennifer is my daughter, so I always try to take her side in all things. But when, when production, showed all the times that Dolores had Jennifer's back, I realized that I feel like Jennifer's kind of looking for a moment just with anyone. And I guess Dolores is the last person that, or it's the person that she's looking for a moment with. But, then I think about like, why did Dolores call her the CUNT word? Like, why did she do that? Like, that wasn't cool. But at the end of the day, Dolores did have Jennifer's back. And yeah, I think so. And I think Jennifer's just being a little dramatic. Did you notice how like Bill was like trying to support Jen in the car, but like he was like biting his tongue a little bit because I feel like he's not trying to like, I think he's like very scared of conflict. Also, like last year was not a good year for him, so like he's just trying to eat Jennifer's ass at this point, I feel like. But he did kind of clock Jennifer. He was like, you can't have these unreasonable expectations for your friends. Like, some people are going to show up for you in different ways and you have to just accept them for how they are. He said something of that nature in the car, which was tea. And the way that Jennifer was like, I don't want to hear it. Like, girl, settle down. He's actually spilling like
she was like, shut the fuck up, Bill.
Yeah. And then did you notice how Danielle is a liar? Because she like went back into the house saying that Jennifer was crying and missing Dolores, which did not really happen. I feel like Jennifer was like shit talking Dolores the whole time.
But she was crying. She started crying.
But she was shit talking Dolores.
Danielle wasn't lying, but one thing that's not, she wasn't crying. You know what? I like Danielle. I'm gonna say it. I'll say it right now. I like Danielle.
All right. By the time it's reunion, you're gonna be like, I don't fuck with her. I'm not doing that shit.
And that's okay. Listen, you're just like triggered by Jen Shaw, who goes to jail on Friday, by the way. But you're just triggered. And I understand.
Rightfully so. Why aren't you?
Because Danielle doesn't seem like she's defrauding old people. Like, she seems like a chill Jersey mom. And she wasn't lying. Jennifer was crying. Yes, she was shit talking, but she was also crying.
She's a loser. Until I don't think she is. Her and her small home, she's a loser. And she's from Staten Island, so remember who's that one girl from Staten Island in Jersey Shore? I rest my case.
So we move on to Teresa.
Oh wait,
talking about.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Sorry.
No, you.
No, okay. Well, I was gonna say Teresa planning her wedding and her having like a black wedding planner. I know that's right. And
I know that's right.
I loved when she was like, "Am I being a bridezilla?" Like, girl, you think we gonna tell you that you're being a bridezilla? Like, I gotta get these coins. Like, why would I ever tell you that you're being a bridezilla? Like, come on, Teresa. Let's use our brains. Let's use our brains. She gotta get her money. If she calls you, if she says yes, you're being a bridezilla. Do you think that she'll continue having that job? No. So No, you're not being a
Yeah,
bridezilla.
like Teresa's an insane
Anyways,
person who would like over exaggerate on it anyway. If like the lady was to be
yeah,
like, yes, you are a bridezilla, like Teresa would
yeah.
find a way to flip it and make it so much worse. It goes into Melissa and Joe talking about Teresa. So the only note that I have here, I watched the whole scene, right? But the only note that I have here is these these losers have nothing going on except Teresa. Because all of their scenes in this episode were just about Teresa.
Yeah, like doesn't Melissa own Envy? Like we don't see her at Envy at all. We just see her like being a loser and her husband being a fucking loser too. Um, they were like they were talking about how Melissa and Teresa were hosting a red carpet together and it was awkward. And then they were talking about the wedding again. And like Joe, I don't know if you caught this, but Joe was like, why he doesn't understand why his sister wouldn't want him to walk down the aisle. Like, nigga, y'all aren't close.
You're not her father. Yeah.
You're not close. You don't like this bitch. Even if she were to ask you to have her walk down the aisle, you would say no. Let's use our brains. I just like, he is such a loser. Why the fuck did I take a picture with him? Yeah.
That was so iconic of you though. No, that's like okay, but that's how I feel after I took a picture with the Toms. Because like they are fucking losers. And I've been watching them for the last 10 years. And even now they're still losers. So like it's fine. It's okay. They're just a part of our lives. Um yeah, so like I just wrote that, like they were talking about Teresa and how like Melissa's just like, it's fine, like I'm over, I'm so sick of it. Okay, like shut up then. That's all I said.
Yeah.
And then goes into, Jennifer and Danielle getting together. Kids are coming in the house, playing together. The other thing I wrote was the difference in camera work on this versus Real Housewives of Miami. Like Real Housewives of Miami looks like a movie. And I just don't understand. Like New Jersey, low key, I love it, New Jersey, but it just kind of looks like dated in terms of like the camera work.
Oh,
And
they're so low budget with them.
they need to step it up. It's their
Like
13th season, baby.
they had like the same like casting photo. Like remember how like the introduction photo for all of them for like 5 years straight, the same shit over and over and over. Like 5 years straight, we had the same intro for Jennifer, not Jennifer Shaw, Jennifer Aiden, because they're so fucking cheap. So they should invest more into New
Hmm.
Jersey.
Miami is gorgeous. And we love watching Miami. Camera work, like it's just gorgeous. Basically, when Danielle was at Jennifer's house, they were getting along together really well. And Teresa and Jennifer on the phone, FaceTiming. And was it Teresa or Jennifer that dropped the news about Marge's friend?
I don't remember.
I feel like it was like I feel like it was one of them because then Danielle started being like, "We need to talk about the secret because you guys are talking about it now, so might as well just come out with it." But Jennifer didn't say anything.
Neither did Teresa. They
Yeah, they
both were
met.
like,
Mm-hmm. They they talked to Marge's friend and got some dirt on Marge's friend. Which, how do you feel about them doing that?
it's a smart housewife move to me. At the end of the day, I know they don't fuck with Marge, so whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I think at the end of the day, like this girl is also releasing tea about Melissa and Joe. And I think Teresa really cares about her brother. And so that's the
Mm-hmm.
real reason why they want to hear the tea is for because I think that that's the real reason Teresa wants to know the tea is because she wants to just make sure her brother's okay or try to protect her brother
Mm-hmm.
from something. Um,
Mm-hmm.
But I know Jennifer's just doing it to be messy. And honestly, that's what Marge did to her. So why not? I think. What about you?
I think it's messy. But like, Jen and Marge aren't gonna be friends. They've been beefing over some shit for the last like couple years, so I'm kind of over it. I like it, but I'm over it. And I wouldn't do it. Me personally, I wouldn't do it. But I'm not a housewife. So it's what you gotta do to keep the story going. And Jennifer's really good at that. So I think I'll accept it this one time.
Yeah.
Because Marge is annoying.
Did
So
you kind of feel like Danielle was there for like recruitment, like to be in an alliance? Like when she came over to Jennifer's house, like because why are you like running towards going to Jennifer's home in a thunderstorm? Like it's literally raining. Like I don't know. I just kind of felt like it was like a recruitment towards an alliance, and the way that they were all on the phone together, like it was definitely planned beforehand, like what was going to happen. And I just, the reason why I don't like Danielle is because she's a loser to me. And I think the reason why she's a loser is because like she's not rich like Jennifer. Like the way that she was like, Jennifer's home is so nice. Like she was gagging at being at Jennifer's home.
sure.
And I'm like, I want housewives that have a lot of money. I don't want relatability type shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want more Robin Dixons in shows. I want like more like really rich, opulent like bitches. Like that's what I want. I want opulence. I want rich, but that's not what Danielle is giving, or the other
Is
girl, to be
giving.
honest. Maybe that's why I like
Yeah,
Jackie.
so interesting. Interesting. Okay, so then it goes into the new girl. And I just said Rachel seems cute, I guess. She's on Melissa's side though. So I'm steering clear of her, and that's all I gotta say. She kind of runs through like a little brief history. She met her husband while she was working for him, like she was his waitress. And yeah, and she talks about like being a mom and a stepmom and like challenges and stuff like that. And then I don't really care about anything else that happens with her, to be honest. Like that's a housewife where like I'll wait till the end of the season. Goes into
Wait,
Marge having a get together. Wait, what?
we didn't talk about how inappropriate that relationship is. I know you don't mess with
Oh,
Rachel
sorry,
so
go
far, but
ahead.
that relationship is inappropriate to me, in my opinion. That's what I want to say. Like you're
I
dating your
wonder how much
boss.
older he is than her.
She also looks 47. She does not look 31 to me. Isn't she like
You
31? She
think
was
she looks
born in
47?
1991. She looks old, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, see what happens when you're on Melissa's side? So now it's
Oh
going into
no,
Marge's house.
no, because I can get on what's her name's neck too, because she don't look that good either. Let's you're you're not doing that with me.
You're just a hater of both of them right now, okay?
Yeah, I don't like them bitches.
So they go to Marge's house and everyone's arriving. Melissa brings sprinkle cookies.
That was so funny to me. I'm sorry. Like that was
You
so
laughed.
funny. I laughed. That was
And
so
what was
funny.
funny about it?
She brought sprinkle
It's
cookies. That was
tired,
homage
it's
to Teresa.
old.
That was homage to your mother. Come on. Like you had to like laugh. Like come on.
I did
It was
this.
homage. Like they brought even back the clip of she brought sprinkle cookies to my home. I threw it in the garbage. Like that was iconic. And I thought that was funny. I thought it was funny. Listen, I'm now watching Housewives objectively. I'm not gonna watch it with straight up bias and hate these bitches guts, except for the newbies. And I will clock Melissa and Joe because I don't really fuck with them together. Melissa was fine in the girls' trip. Like she looked like a fun girl to hang out with. Did she not in Real Housewives the girls' trip? Girl, what is it? Real Housewives
Ultimate.
girls' trip, Ultimate girls' trip. Yeah, she was fun in there. Anyways, we move.
I will
We have
keep
a show to get
watching
to.
it with
Sorry.
bias. I will keep watching it with bias. Um,
We
so they
talking
go,
about
they go over to Marge's house,
yeah.
and she brings the sprinkle cookies. You think it's funny. I think it's corny and dumb and annoying. And so we move. And so then I just wrote Marge's house looks a mess. I'm sorry, like, because it does. I'm looking at her walls and they're like giving me a headache. I don't understand. I don't understand her house and I don't understand her style. Like, I feel like it should be in like a retail store. Like, it's not cute. But
Isn't
anyway,
it
we're in her house.
funny? Oh no. Can I talk about her house really quick? Sorry. I think it's okay, like I wanted her to hire a contractor, but then I realized that like she will not be able to hire a contractor because she slept with the contractor and she is currently with the contractor and the contractor, Joe B, will not allow that shit.
Let
So
her hire another one.
redacted, she cannot hire a fucking contractor because she won't mess around. Yeah, so you were saying that Marge has a get together with the girls. So
And
sorry,
like,
continue.
they talk about Teresa, talk about Louis, talk about Melissa. The whole thing is just about Teresa. She is really the center of these bitches' lives, truly, and their conversation. And then I just was wondering if the ex-friend, like, because Marge and all the girls were talking about, Teresa and Jennifer going to that ex-friend and getting information from her. I just wonder if the ex-friend is going to show up this season, like, in person. And
I
then,
don't feel like it because
um,
Marge has too much power. I don't feel like that's gonna happen because I feel like Marge has too many connections within production and they'll block it,
yeah, they protect her.
which is annoying because they brought
Um,
Kim D up in this bitch, and like, who gives a fuck about Kim D?
no,
Anyways,
literally. Okay, so
but
then
we
it goes
move.
into it goes into Dolores, or goes into Dolores with her man, and I just made a note saying like his house seems really big, but like she just was like saying, oh well, I just want to make sure that you're okay with me like being here and touching your stuff and leaving my stuff here, and he was like, oh my god, I love it, which I thought was so sweet. Like they seem like they're really cute together. Then Dolores goes into talking about how she's just done, trying to make things right with Jennifer. Like she was a really good friend to Jennifer, and Dolores, or Polly was also saying like you are a really good friend and just like reassuring her of that. And also talking about Frank and how Frank is just upset because Dolores just isn't around for him as much anymore, but also how she knows that Polly is not a priority in her life, and then it goes to a commercial. So what do you think
Literally,
about
Frank is so annoying. I'm sorry. The only Frank I want to see is her son. I don't give a fuck about old Frank.
Frank Senior?
You're
Yeah,
not
I think
you're not as accessible anymore.
like you have a
We're
wife
literally 70 years
or
old,
you have a
bro.
girlfriend.
Like you're
Yeah,
literally 70 years old. Like what? Like I'm
right.
mad at Frank, but it's really Dolores' fault because she let this happen. Like maybe she liked that though. Like she liked being needed from him. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just fucking
Anyways.
weirdos. Yeah.
Okay, so then it goes into the next part of the episode. Teresa sends out her wedding invitations. So everyone's receiving them. So it shows like, all the housewives receiving them. Rachel and her husband received them. And honestly, I thought the same thing that her husband thought. He was like, we just met them. He's like, oh yeah, it's nice. It's just like weird because we just met them. I was like, that's honestly true. Like, that's really weird. So then everyone's receiving them, and then Joe and Melissa get their wedding, and they're like, or their invitation, and they're like, oh yeah, it's cute. They start talking about how they weren't invited, or they were invited to the engagement party, but like they sat tables away, and they were like hurt about that. I don't really give a fuck. What do you think about that scene?
I just feel like the seating thing is so weird. Like, honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I'm Habesha, I'm Eritrean, so where you sit does matter, I guess. So if I put my actual brother and his wife at a completely different table, and like I was just with my partner's, I only had my partner's family around me, like I would rightfully be dragged because like why would I do that?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I just feel like it's it doesn't need to be brought up this much. Like it's getting really tired at this point. Like we heard it at the reunion, and now we're 2 episodes in, and you're still bringing it up, and you're still mad at your sister, but you won't tell your sister that you're mad at her, and so the shit is festering, and like all that's happening right now is built up resentment, and yeah.
I think the same thing. Like, I'm really tired of hearing about this damn engagement party. I guess, like, well, Dolores also said later in the episode that in Italian culture, it's a really big deal where you sit. So I think just like in foreign culture, period, like it's just a
Yeah.
really big deal where you sit, especially when you're, blood family.
Mm-hmm.
But y'all are not close.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're practically fucking estranged at this point. So, like, you should be lucky you got invited at all. I feel like in Teresa's head. Like, you really should be lucky you were even invited to the engagement party at all because she hates Melissa. And she's like, I don't even want to invite your ass, but I will because you're my brother. And I guess you got to bring her too, so I'll invite her as well. But that's it. You're just getting invited, period. Like, don't ask
Yeah.
for nothing more, nothing less. That's how I feel like
Yeah.
what's going on in Teresa's brain. Okay, so then it goes into Danielle saying that she's throwing a mozzarella party, making some mozzarella, and inviting all the housewives over. So they all start trickling in, taking shots and making drinks and stuff like that. And then they were like, "Oh, should we wait for Jackie?" And Danielle says, "No, I didn't invite Jackie because I felt like, some weird vibes. Like she like looked me up and down the last couple times we were all together. So I just wanted to be good vibes and everyone just have like a fun time." Which honestly should have invited Jackie because it wasn't good vibes towards the end of the episode. So would it have even mattered if she was there? And so,
I'm
yeah, I
crying.
wrote down I love mozzarella, and then it went into like Jen and Marge talking, and I didn't have that many notes for that, but maybe you can kind of go into it because you said it was the best part of the episode.
Okay. So basically, as Marge is getting into this party, she shares that she's upset with Jennifer for linking up with her ex best friend. She already shared that a little bit in the small get together that Dolores, her, and Jackie and all the other girls have um in that, like, I don't know, the prior scene. Um, but she's like, I'm gonna have a conversation with Jennifer. So they end up linking up, and Marge confronts her and is like, would you hang out? I heard that you hung out with my ex best friend. Why would you do that? Like, I thought we
Mm-hmm.
were mending fences, and I thought that we were building a new friendship. And Jennifer was like, yeah, I did it. But she didn't really take full accountability for kind of being messy in that, because if you're linking up with someone's ex best friend, it's to get dirt on them. And she got dirt because we saw it in the prior
Mm-hmm.
scene, but she never really took accountability for it. And we get into Marge and Jennifer arguing, and honestly, I feel like Marge clocked Jennifer.
Yeah.
And Jennifer's my daughter, but I just feel like Marge really got the best of Jennifer in that conversation. Jennifer tries to deny that she's being messy. She just wanted to have a conversation with her, or give that friend an opportunity, give that person an opportunity to connect. And so they did that. Then this is where we like appreciate Marge because she's just working. She's working her ass off. Then she gets into
Mm-hmm.
saying, I'm worried for you. I think you have marijuana paranoia. And then walks away. Which was funny to me.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it was kind of crazy to also say, but she walks away, then sits at the pool. Dolores and all the girls are there sitting at the pool. And then Marge is like, this is why, and you're not even friends with Dolores. And then Jennifer starts going on a rant about Dolores. Dolores all of a sudden gets up. Everyone and their mom gets up to like,
Everyone is shook.
everyone's shook because Dolores is not someone you want to play with. I guess Jennifer and Dolores get into an understanding of like, we're just not
Can be
gonna
friends.
acknowledge each other and be friends. Teresa killed me at this point because Teresa's like, how about clean slate? I'm so curious to see her be
Yeah.
the mediator because I don't think I've ever seen her be the mediator. Like usually she's really checked out, but I
Mm-hmm.
think Teresa really cares about Dolores and
Mm-hmm.
um, Jennifer. So then
I
that
agree.
happens. They move, they mend, or they have an agreement that they just will not fuck with each other anymore. Then um, Melissa all of a sudden brings up her wedding, or no, not Melissa. Teresa ends up bringing up her wedding, and she was talking about, I'm gonna have open seating now. Marge, again, this is where we appreciate Marge because she's working. Marge was
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, we don't want to have the same situation from the engagement party happen again. And then it becomes Teresa versus Melissa. But I don't remember exactly what happened during that. Do you remember off the top of
I
your head?
mean, yeah. I mean, Teresa was lying. Okay, I believe Melissa. I believe Melissa in this situation because they are going so hard saying that they sat at a different table. So like I feel like we would have like receipts of that. Like weren't there pictures of anything at the engagement party? And I mean that sentence kind of sounds like it's more in like Teresa's defense, but I'm just saying like I do believe that. And I also believe that like maybe, Louis came up to the like what Teresa said on the reunion. Like Louis came up and said, like I want you guys to switch tables or whatever. And Joe and Melissa are like, no, we'll sit here, and wanted to be bitches about it. And now they like bring it up to like spite Teresa. And it's like, well, maybe like
Mm,
Teresa actually tried to help you and you didn't want it because you guys want to be bitter and stupid. But basically that's what they were
yeah.
like that's what they were saying. Teresa was saying like that's not true. Like I did try to like, have you near me, like you're saying like a lie. And Melissa's like, oh, so I'm the bad guy? I'm like, yeah, bitch, you are. You always are.
So that honestly, Melissa did clock Teresa in this argument, I feel like, because ultimately they were seated across the table. I don't think it was Teresa's intention to do that. I think that's what she
Mm-hmm.
was arguing with
Yeah.
Melissa about, but like I don't think Teresa's words were coming out right. So I think that was the ultimate thing. But yeah, I just feel like Melissa definitely clocked Teresa in that moment, and it was
I
unfortunate
did.
that she got clocked. And then
It
I feel like
was.
Teresa was like, I'm all about family, I'm all about family. She's like, and Melissa was like,
Yeah.
shut up with this. I'm over this. Like, shut up. Because Teresa
Yeah.
does this all the time where she's like, I'm all about
Right.
family, but if you were all about family, this wouldn't have happened. So that's why I really feel like Melissa clocked Teresa in being full of shit
Mm-hmm.
because she was being full of shit.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
But also, I mean, we also feel the same way when we said it earlier, where they're literally not that close. So the fact that like
yeah,
Teresa was even going in her mind, probably going out of her way to have you near her during her engagement party, and you're still being a bitch about it. I don't know. Seeing it from Teresa's point of
but
view.
no, but it's a foreign point of view though. Like, yeah, like we think about it logically, yes, you're right. The foreign point of view though is like, what the fuck? I'm literally your blood brother, and you're seating me across the table. Like, it is fucked up a little bit. And if she didn't invite them,
Mm-hmm.
that would be a
No, it is.
whole nother thing, Asha. Because I'm to me, I don't know how you feel about this, but like I'm really just over Melissa and Teresa and Joe fighting all of the time. Like it's been 10 years of this. Like after this year, I hope that Bravo does something about this because it's getting tired. Like I know that I think you actually enjoy it, but like I know for me, I'm tired of it. Like it's getting tired. Like we need new family drama. Like
Something. Yeah.
I need some
No, I
wicked
agree.
twisted type shit coming through in Jersey now. Keep Teresa,
Mm-hmm.
don't and let's let go of Melissa and Joe for now. Or hold on. Keep Melissa and Joe. Bring what's her name? Jackie? Is it Jackie Loretta?
Jacqueline.
Bring her in. Let's have a Melissa takedown season.
No, they'll never have that because production protects Melissa and Joe too much. Like they're literally up their ass. Because there
Yeah.
could have been a lot of shit that came out about Joe and Melissa, but it just hasn't yet. We'll figure out a way though. Well, that was season 13, episode 2. Did a little bit faster this time. We definitely had a lot of opinions and thoughts. Any ending thoughts or anything like that, Fnan?
No, I'm good. This was a moment. We'll be back
Okay.
next week.
Please don't forget to subscribe, share, comment, like, all those things, ciao. And follow us on our socials. We'll be putting that in our video as well. Thank you so much for joining us. Bye.